YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name's Diana and we talk about eating a gluten-free, vegan, plant-based lifestyle while tracking my weight loss journey. So in today's video, we have a special treat. I am from the Philadelphia area, if you couldn't tell by my hat and my shirt, but also if you haven't checked out my other video where I actually go to Philadelphia and eat vegan for the day with my mom, I'd highly suggest that you check it out. You can find the link up here. I'm gonna put one up there for you to check it out. I'm actually about to cook dinner for my parents. It's a little after 5. I wanted to try to recreate one of the meals from that Philly video with my mom. So we went to a place called Campos in Philadelphia and we had vegan cheesesteaks. And if you're from Philadelphia or you've heard of anything about Philly, we're known for our cheesesteaks. So they offered an Impossible cheesesteak and a seitan cheesesteak. Mom had the seitan, I had the Impossible due to me being allergic to gluten. We thought they were pretty awesome, but I wanted to recreate it at home and see if I could bring the same power and flavor to some of the ingredients that I like to use. So we're gonna do them up now and do them a few different ways, and I'm gonna take you with me. So let's go. So these are all the ingredients you're going to need, and I'll explain everything in just a moment here. So we actually have the Impossible meat. I found it at our Giant in the refrigerated section. Most of the time you can only find Impossible meat in the frozen section, but I'm not really sure how much we're gonna need, but I'm just gonna cook all of this up. Traditionally, a cheesesteak is done with American cheese, but I really love this Dia, however you guys pronounce it, cheddar, and this Vio or Violife. I don't know how y'all pronounce these two, but anyways, they're both cheddar, but traditionally cheesesteak, well, okay, let's get a little technical here for a second. If you're from the burbs like me, a cheesesteak is made with American white cheese. I know, for all your Philadelphians that are watching, usually it's made with or without, right? If you're lost, you gotta be from Philly. But traditionally in Philly, it's made with Cheese Whiz or, that's the oven, or provolone. But here in the burbs where I grew up eating cheesesteaks, we always used white American when I would get a cheesesteak at a takeout place. So we don't have white American, but we have cheddar, and I promise you it'll be just as good. I'll get to these ingredients in a second. So, as you know, I'm gluten-free, so we are actually eating these on French baguettes today. These breads are so delicious by Char. I am not sponsored by anybody, guys, but it is gluten-free and vegan. They're from Spain. You do have to bake their breads a little bit, so that's what the oven just beeped. It's at 400. We're just gonna bake these to get them a little crusty for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're gonna assemble our cheesesteaks. Mom and Dad actually like theirs hoagie style. So again, if you're not from Philadelphia, when we eat sandwiches, we eat cheesesteaks and what we call subs or hoagies with the lunch meat and everything on them, like an Italian or a turkey or tuna on like a long Italian roll like this. And we call them hoagies instead of subs. So hoagie style is gonna be the meat and the cheese with a layer of mayonnaise. Don't worry, it's vegan. And then some lettuce, onion, and a fresh tomato. So I'm gonna cut all this up and get it ready for the cheesesteaks, and we're gonna get firing. So let me take you over to the stove. Before we get started, I did just want to say that cheesesteaks in Philadelphia have been around for almost 100 years. I know that sounds crazy when I read about it, but Pat Oliveira was the first to come up with a cheesesteak. They used to, apparently the rumor is they used to own a hot dog stand, and he made a steak sandwich one night with just meat and peppers and bread, no cheese, and it was a hit, and from there on out, it got added with cheese and a few other things, and to this day, there's still a Pat Steaks downtown. So like I said, a traditional cheesesteak is gonna be made of ribeye steak, chipped down into small pieces of beef, and then it's served with which is Cheese Whiz or provolone cheese, and then usually sauteed onions. Of course, you can get any toppings you want. You could get like peppers, mushrooms, some people do spaghetti like tomato sauce, and they call it like a pizza cheesesteak. You know, you could get it the hoagie style like my parents get. I mean, any combination is pretty good. I like to do something a little taboo with mine later, which I did in the Philly video. So yeah, if you saw the Philly video, then you already know what that is that I'm gonna do to my cheesesteak, but let's get cooking. All right, so we're gonna stick these rolls just in here for about 5 to 7 minutes. They're gonna get a nice crust on them. So we'll see them in just a moment. All right guys, so I'm really excited to use this new pan. It's made by Lodge. I got it at Target. It's a 10¼ inch seasoned cast iron skillet. The reason it's my first cast iron skillet, it's made in the US, it's made in Tennessee, but the reason it's my first is all the houses I grew up in, we've always had a flat top stove. We do not have a gas burner. So this frying pan actually does work on a flat top stove. So this is the first time I'm using it. I'm super excited to be making Philly cheesesteaks in it. So I just did a little bit of olive oil. You could do vegetable oil in the pan. I'm gonna let it heat up a little bit.
A few moments later.
Okay, this is heated up, I think, enough to at least get started. So we're gonna put in, there we go, the first one. Get it going. So unfortunately, Beyond and Impossible and all those companies, they only really make like patties or ground beef. They don't really make like a ribeye styled steak or like a chipped beef. So we are gonna grind this up a little bit in hopes to make it more like a cheesesteak style. Comment down below, do you like Impossible meat better? Do you like Beyond Burger meat better? Like which do you all prefer? I really prefer the Impossible. I just feel like it cooks more like a actual ground beef, as you see here. I also feel that the taste, of course, more importantly, is really spot on. Really is kind of crazy that it, you know, tastes so similar to beef. You know, being vegan, I actually haven't been craving too much red meat, or really meat at all. But, you know, occasionally something special like this, you know, would really, I think, hit the spot. I think for the 3 of us, we're only gonna need 2 packages. I mean, this looks like a lot already. Let me get this other one going, since this is almost cooked. And I can smell that bread. So that bread is almost done. I'm gonna pull it out in just a second because that timer's about to go off. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's get this in here. And then let me show you what the bread looks like. Oh yeah, that looks really good. So let's grab those. You know, I might put a little salt. I'm not sure I'll put any pepper or anything, but maybe a little salt at least on here. All right, I'm gonna finish cooking this, guys, and I'll come back in a minute. You guys don't have to watch me cook this whole thing. This video will be too long, and we'll be back. All right, so we're gonna cut up this lettuce, tomato, and onion. All right, so we're gonna assemble my parents' cheesesteaks because they really like I said, the hoagie style. So we're gonna get this vegan mayo on here first. Just slather this on the bread on both sides. And then This Hellman's vegan mayo is pretty legit. Get up the middle here. All right. And then I'm gonna do the same to the other one, but let me just show you how I'm gonna assemble this first. So we're gonna do a layer of lettuce on the one side here. Okay. Layer of lettuce. Usually they use iceberg. We're using romaine, so that's what we had. Let me get some tomatoes. You can put a little salt and pepper on the tomatoes too if you want. All right. And then we're gonna get some onions. Okay. Doesn't have to be super pretty, but we do want to try to make sure the ingredients aren't stacked too much on top of each other here. So we got a nice lettuce, tomato, onion sandwich going on here right now. And the rest of the room we got to leave for the meat and the cheese. So I'm going to do this on the other bread, and then we're going to go back to the meat and cheese, and I'll see you there and show you how to assemble it. All right, so we're going to add the cheese, guys. So this got cooked pretty well. We're just gonna melt the cheese. So I'm just gonna put this in here. I'm not gonna go skimpy on cheese because that's the best part about the cheesesteak here is this cheese. So I'm gonna steam it a little bit, add a little bit of water, and cover it so the cheese will melt. So it's already kind of melting. We're just gonna put a little water on top and a little on the sides and cover it. All right, so the cheese obviously is melting. I'm gonna show you how they normally try to make these cheesesteaks. Obviously it's a flat top grill, not a skillet, so it's gonna be a little tricky, but we're gonna try to do this. So I cut the bread. But the idea is they stick the bread in here at the same time. Yeah, there we go. Let me see if I can get a good shot. So that's what we're looking at. Look how cheesy, gooey, delicious this looks. All right, so I'm gonna put mine aside. Let me get my parents set up, and then I'm gonna show you the last step. And then typically when you get your sandwich, they do cut it. And then what they do is they wrap it in it's usually a foil with paper on the outside. But that's usually how you get your steak sandwich, so it stays nice and hot. So we're gonna do that to all of them. Okay guys, so my parents are a little camera shy. They're probably not gonna eat on camera, but I'm gonna sample it for you just so you know how it tastes. I did have to trim my roll so it would fit in the frying pan when I folded all the meat up into the cheesesteak. So I'm gonna eat like a little tiny bite for you. So here it is. And yeah, I'm also going to show you my taboo trick. Ever since I was a kid, I've been eating cheesesteak since I was 5. So for over 30 years, you gotta put ketchup on it. I know, a lot of Philadelphia people are gonna hate me for that, but that's just how I eat my cheesesteak. So we're gonna take this little mini cheesesteak and I'll tell you how it tastes. Ready? Wow. That bread has a nice crunch, nice crust. It's just so creamy, so cheesy. It tastes just like a cheesesteak. I guarantee if I put this in front of you and you ate meat, you wouldn't know the difference. So good. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. I appreciate you tuning in. Please give the video a like, comment down below. Let me know if you try this. Let me know if you prefer Beyond versus Impossible. And please don't forget to subscribe. And as always, stay driven.